Greetings from the New York Times Travel Show at the Jacob K. Javits Convention Center, where you can see the entire world in one pavilion. Ladies and gentlemen, Enrique Núñez from Cuba. Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry, hola.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Bien, bien, ¿y tú?
Muy bien, gracias.
So good to see you back at the New York Times Travel Show. You've been coming for years. How have you seen this event evolving?
This is my fourth time here. I started coming back in 2016, and I'm very glad to be here. Grace to my mentor, John McAuliffe, who runs this organization, the Fund for Reconciliation and Development. We met in Havana in 2013. We worked together for a cruise company, and we get friends there. So he invited me to come. Our goal is to let the American people know that they still can come to Cuba.
Yeah.
We gave information. We are not travel agents. No, we give people information about how to go to Cuba, because the American public mostly 100% thinks, no, I can't go, and it's not true.
Well, let's talk about that change, because when you started coming to the New York Times Travel Show, there was still that block from U.S. citizens going into Cuba, but now that's been lifted. How have you seen that change for Cuba?
The change started during the last month in Obama's administration, you see?
Yeah.
Obama's administration, he wanted to establish the relationship between our countries, and we were all happy. Americans and Cubans, we as little entrepreneurs in tourism, we saw many doors open for us. I started to be a tour guide. That's not my specialty. I'm an artist. I'm a singer-songwriter, artistic director. But I thought, actually, it was my daughter. She said, "Dad, your English is very good. You're very knowledgeable about Havana and Cuba. Why don't you start up a tourism program for Americans?" So I did it, and it was very, very good. It was successful from November 2016 until Mr. Trump's speech in Miami in September 2017. He said very bad things about Cuba. Cuba is not safe. You probably will got a sonic attack, whatever, lies.
But that is not what we want to talk with you about, because there are beautiful things in Cuba that you have shown many people, but I want to ask, what part of Cuba do you call home?
I call home Cuba.
No, which part of Cuba?
Havana. Havana. I live in Havana. I was born and raised in Havana. Actually, I am focused in Havana because it's the most I know.
And your favorite thing about Havana is what?
I'm a musician. I gotta tell music everywhere, live music all the time, everywhere. I love jazz, for instance. So, but history and culture and traditions and food, whatever in Havana. Come to Havana.
Now, I had the pleasure of seeing an Enrique Núñez concert right here in New York City. How is performing in the States different than performing in Cuba? In your song selections, does that change when you're performing outside of the country?
Yeah, of course. In Cuba, I only sing in Spanish. I mostly sing my own songs. Mm-hmm. I have more than 500 songs. But here in America and other countries, I include in my performances, in my concerts, some well-known Cuban songs, as Guantanamera, for instance. And that song I included to be sung here by Johnny Mitchell, both sides now. I learned that song when I was a kid, when I was trying to learn guitar and trying to learn English. So I learned that song, and I always sing it in America.
Now, a lot of people in the United States may feel they have experienced Cuban culture by exploring South Beach, Miami. There's a wonderfully large Cuban community there. Do you feel that's an accurate representation, or is it drastically different what you would see in the Cuban community of Miami as compared to what you would see in Havana?
You see, I had people coming from Miami City, Miami Beach community, and once they are there in Havana, they forget everything. they become Cubans as we are. So for me, there are no differences. You see, even when they are part of the American community and the American people, they are mostly Americans, American citizens, because But when they come to Havana, yes, they become as neighbors, as friends, as family.
And Enrique, before we go, is there anything I didn't ask you about? And my last question before we do go is, what is your most proud moment of being a Cuban?
Oh my God. Yeah. Being a Cuban, it's being one person who could resist bad times, who could wait for better times, who could challenge what everything is in front of us, and to be proud of being independent and with sovereignty, and that's it.
Enrique Núñez, it is a pleasure. Till next time for the New York Times Travel Show. And ever beautiful, I love New York.